the lighting was good, it wouldn't be one of my videos, so bear with me there. But this video is kind of my take on something that I've seen already talked about, so shout out to the Primogen because he already posted a video giving his thoughts on this, and this is how I actually discovered this. So go show him some love. I actually really like his take on this, but I want to give my own thoughts as someone who's kind of outside that dev bro sphere, right? I'm more of a cybersecurity engineer, systems architect, I'm kind of more so in that degree than someone who's like an actual developer. Although I do develop, I do program from time to time. I wouldn't really say I'm in that community, in that dev sphere, right? So it comes from Hong Wong, owner of Mintlify. I hope I pronounced that right. And it's titled "Remember Not to Smile." Okay. So last month I stood in front of the entire company with a slide that had nothing on it but 4 words: remember not to smile. The reactions were about what you'd expect. Confused looks, a few oh, Jesus Christ, even my body's reacting negatively. Holy shit. Few nervous laughs, and after an awkward silence, someone raised their hand and asked, "What does it mean?" Right? So, a few months ago, Travis, I can't pronounce that last name, illustrated a simple point on a podcast. Picture a marathon runner at mile 21. Are they smiling? No. And if they are, they're about to get passed by someone who isn't. Someone who signed up for the pain. Someone who'll go harder and further because of it. And if we scroll down further, I've lost track of the number of times we won over a customer because I stayed in the office till 4 a.m. shipping a feature I knew would blow them away the next morning. And he keeps going over about how, he's lost track of the number of times he had to make hard decisions and everything like that. But it turned to be right in the long run. And he said, I didn't smile through a single one of them. And obviously he ends off the article with remember not to smile. So maybe this is a hot take, I'm not sure. I feel like modern tech CEOs are just the new alpha males, right? So, like, picture Andrew Tate, picture Hustlers University, right? There was that one sitting alpha male who was talking about, like, how if you don't sit in a chair right, then everyone's going to make fun of you and not respect you because of how you're sitting in a chair. You have to sit down properly or else you're a loser. And they're always selling some kind of dumb course, right? So this guy is talking like he's about to go to war, right? Like he's fighting for the future of his existence or whatever, right? And then you go to his website and you realize that Mintlify is docs. It's a documentation service, right? Um, and trust me, I know behind the scenes there's actually a lot that goes into this kind of stuff. So if I actually were to go show you something that my company has made, if we go to products, there's one called Bin. And if you click on Bin, this looks pretty simple, right? And it seems to be just like a simple paste bin where you upload a file or put some text in, set the time period, and you create bin. And then you can see, you get a QR code and then you get a link. But there's actually way more to it behind the scenes. It's actually zero knowledge encryption. The whole architecture is that the server can never actually see what you share. All it ever sees is encrypted gobbledygook, right? It's all client-side encrypted, meaning that the encryption and everything happens on your device locally. This is the encryption/decryption key right here, and it's after a hashtag. So anything after a hashtag in a URL in just standard web standards, it doesn't get passed to the server. So if we even go and read what bin is, it's quite a bit more than just some simple, just we put a page where you can share files, right? So I do understand that products like this can actually have a ton more behind the scenes, but I also want to show you something else with Bin that I think really contrasts what he said. So when we're coming up with features and stuff in my company, and I guess to be fair, we're a lot smaller of a company than his. I think he has like 50 employees, and his company's definitely more successful than ours. I saw Amazon and Microsoft and all this shit on their website, so clearly they're a lot bigger than us. But if we go to Newsroom and we scroll down here, new improvements to Raven Bin. So we actually improved the reliability, we made improvements to the UX and everything else, and I think this was a great update. And by the way, this might sound like just one giant, this video is not supposed to be just one giant ad for Bin. I'm sorry if it's feeling like that. I just am trying to speak to my experiences as what I do, right? I really do feel like this is starting to just feel like an ad. I'm sorry about that. But with Bin, we were trying to figure out because it had a reliability issue, right? Where it was a bit less reliable. Sometimes certain uploads would fail, certain types of data would cause issues, and we were wondering, well, how do we fix this? So, we're sitting in the Excalibur, we're sitting there trying to discuss stuff in a call, and when we come up with ideas that of how to actually do this all, and it finally starts clicking, and we've come up with something genuinely great, and we're getting really excited about it instead of just not smiling and just going and doing the work, right? We're actually smiling, we're getting excited about it, we're going, oh shit, that's great, man, and we're getting really into it. We get excited about our work, we go and then we actually do it, and we're happy about the results. And it's really cool to deliver something great. Even with Talon, all the new changes we brought, we added multi-language support recently, with support for a ton of different languages, even stuff that you wouldn't necessarily think of, right? We added support for a bunch of new languages and stuff, and we were genuinely excited about that change. We were really happy with it. And we are smiling about it because maybe I guess the difference is that when you're running that marathon of, shipping new features, if the marathon is shipping new features, I guess, in that example, then it's good to smile after crossing the finish line, right? We're not smiling until the update's already out, but when it is out and that people are happy with it, we are definitely smiling. We're not just sitting there not frowning and just getting back to work, right? It's good to be proud of what you're building. And the last thing I want to make a point about is that I really truly feel like CEOs, modern tech startups, really expect all their employees to be CEOs. And what I mean by this is that they're really expecting you to work like a CEO, talk like a CEO, think like a CEO, but then at the same time not get paid nearly as close as a CEO. I think that's silly. I think work-life balance and having boundaries with your work is very important. You should always make sure to have some time for yourself. And by the way, this is coming from someone who sucks at what I'm talking about. I'm literally giving you advice for shit that I struggle with constantly. But it is still good to, if I'm working at some place or whatever, I put in the work, I keep my head down, I focus, I get the work done. But when I'm finished with my work, I am proud of it. I'm willing to smile at my work because I'm confident that it's great. And I also make sure not to devote like 80 hours spent staying up every night or whatever working on it, because I think that that's just an unhealthy balance. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw, but not too long ago, there were stories of these developers ending up in the ER or whatever because they were literally staying up so late, pushing themselves to the absolute limits, and then they go to the ER. Because I guess something happened, some medical emergency, and it turns out that they were dehydrated, had shit nutrition, stayed up way too late, and were just treating themselves horribly, chronic stress, everything else. That's serious issues in this kind of work, right? And when people are pushing themselves to that limit just to try to go slightly above everyone else, you have to stop and realize that if you're going to pause for a little bit just to actually, you know, you're not going to fall behind and end up in the what's it called, the permanent underclass or whatever. You're not gonna do that just because you went to sleep at a normal bedtime. That's not gonna happen just because you, instead of are pushing yourself to the absolute limit and shit, you're getting your work done, clocking in and clocking out at a reasonable time, right? That's not gonna happen. Okay. I know that the economy, I know that the current situation right now of the world is pretty scary, and it is definitely kind of, you want to work hard to try to stay away from, falling into, because I mean, the housing economy right now is nuts, everything's crazy, but at the same time, you shouldn't be compromising yourself like that to that degree just to uh, try to get a slight edge on people. Like, come on, right? I actually feel like if anything, you'll get a slight edge on people because they're all working themselves to death on their shit. Meanwhile, you're just vibing along, getting your stuff done, right? So, I mean, I don't really know what more to say on this topic. I think I'll end it here, but I guess this is maybe just my take as an outsider of, again, this like kind of dev brosphere or whatever. So before I end the video off, I will also mention I know I've been dead as hell when it comes to uploading on this channel, and that's mainly just because I've been extraordinarily busy as of recent. I did start my new job, so I've been working towards that. I'm getting my vehicle figured out. I'm getting all that stuff figured out right now. It's a busy time right now, so I will be trying to upload more. It's just also kind of difficult with my current living situation because Ooh, there's not as much privacy where I'm staying right now, but just give me some time. Bear with me here. I appreciate everyone who's been sticking around and showing your support, truly. I am working on getting to uploading more, so expect to see some more of me soon.